Hey, welcome to the Parent Portal Show. It's a great day, beautiful day outside, Coach. Let's see, I see fog. It's been raining for almost a week solid. And hey, if my truck or my house hasn't floated down the road, I'm pretty happy with all the rain that we've got going.
Yeah, it is definitely duck weather out here. It has been raining, but we went through an entire summer of just like nothing, and to have some good rain is definitely needed.
Absolutely. Well, and we're over here by Brushy Creek, and that place got filled up pretty quick. I started looking at it about 4 days ago, and sure enough, they had some machinery out there pulling debris out on the upside of the bridge because I think it was about to cause some problems. So I'm glad
Yeah,
our local Williamson County Parks and Recreation group is doing the work they need to do to keep us safe. That's a good thing.
yeah, we appreciate them.
Hey, we've got a lot to talk about today, and it is an amazing day. There's so much going on. We're going to get into some gaming, EA Sports, and talk all about some of that craziness and fun. I mean, hey, it's not enough to have craziness and weirdness going on the field or with NCAA announcements and press releases. We got to start having craziness and weirdness going on with the gaming software solution representing the college football game.
It,
Buying or selling a home is a bit of a challenge in today's changing Austin market. If you're moving to Austin or selling in Austin, you need to reach out to one of my long-term friends and the guy who helped me, Chris Ott, with the Ott Group of Keller Williams Realty. I needed a professional with knowledge of the Austin area, and Chris was the right agent for the job. Chris, his business partner, Teresa Ott Basso, and their team have helped thousands of people. The Ott family is celebrating over 35 years in Austin and plan to provide their real estate services for many more years to come. Their mantra is your move matters, and that is what they focus on. Go to their website at theottgroup.com and get connected with professionals dedicated to taking care of you. That's TheOttGroup.com. You can also call 512-222-6881 or email them at info@theottgroup.com to get connected with them today. Let them know that Stephen with the Parent Portal Show sent you and start working on your next move.
it's in everywhere. It's touching everything. It's the areas where 5 years ago you would never even think about. It's having its imprint on everything.
We're going to talk about some NCAA, obviously. We get in a little bit with one of your favorites, Paul Feinbaum, talking about Georgia and Alabama. I think that's an interesting discussion. Deion Sanders had a little bit to kick in on that conversation. Get into the transfer portal. Make sure that we talk about all the just changes and you want to talk about, why don't you just take a stick and just hit everyone upside the head 10 times and say, all right, now what do you want to do? Because that's about, I think, the effect that it's having on the programs right now. It is not fun. And for programs like Alabama, Washington, Arizona, it is really not fun for those guys.
It's such a challenge, right? You run a program and you think you have an idea of how you want it to look, and then you wake up tomorrow and it's totally different.
And you got
And that
22 kids that signed up for the transfer portal.
yeah, I mean it's we've talked about, recruiting your own first, but I mean, if you can't get on the road to go recruit, high school kids because you're still trying to hold on what you have, in house, it's definitely changed how things operate for sure.
Yeah, and that's that's an interesting point. We'll jump into it, Coach. But what's crazy about that is now you're having to play. It's whack a mole a little bit. It's keep the kids that are on your team on the team. If you're losing kids, then okay, let's try to fill those gaps, fill those positions. oh yeah, we got the actual 2025 class that we got to be recruiting now, which is, that's part of the calendar, part of the schedule. And then, oh, by the way, if your head coach says, you know what, I'm done, or hey, I'm going to go backfill the fact that Saban's done, and then someone's got to backfill that, all of a sudden, three big programs, very successful programs, are struggling, and they're struggling with what they're going to look like next year. So I suspect there's a lot that's going to happen over this year, and this is again an area that NCAA has got to get serious, and they've got to figure this out a little bit better than what's going on today.
Interesting factoid for you right there.
All right, bring it.
3 of the coaches that were in the college football playoffs are no longer at the schools they were coaching at, and 2 of them are not even coaching in college anymore. And if you asked them, I bet you NIL, portal transfers, and all this stuff has had a direct impact on their decisions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, why not? They've gotten thrown in this chaotic mess. They've proven themselves. They've done what they needed to do. Why wouldn't they just say, you know what, this is just the craziness has caused too much, and now it's time for me to go find those green pastures with good beverages.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of Saban, I think that may be the case. But you look at Harbaugh, and he's jumped from one fire into a different volcano lava right there, and it's he's been there before. I think that's the thing that he has as an advantage, but it's a different animal. It's that's the quote unquote professional league where people are getting paid to play, as opposed to what we talk about.
Are you talking about college football?
That might be.
All right. Well, so in the transfer portal, we're going to talk about UTSA a little bit. That's kind of taking on a strange story there with the quarterback that was coming in there. Then Nick Saban and Deion Sanders kind of adding some color comments to that. We're definitely going to I want to jump into Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and kind of the trade-off, or not the trade-off, the competition. Ohio State stepped up pretty strong now, and then they've kind of overtaken Ole Miss a little bit. And then, hey, I want to jump into Caleb Downs leaving Alabama. Boy, you would have never have guessed that. Even the day of the game, I mean, that just craziness to lose one of your best. I mean, this is a franchise player, right? This is what makes Alabama what Alabama is, and all of a sudden he's gone. He's just absolutely gone.
Yeah, I'll save all those comments because we could talk all day, about it. It is. It's just the nature of how college sports is working right now, and it is. This is the thing to get used to. We used to talk about it in the coaching world. Is like be comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that really applies in this, is because some of these discussions are really uncomfortable, not just for fans. They're uncomfortable for, we want to bring this back to the parents because, our show talks about how this affects our kids. This is an uncomfortable situation for parents where they don't know if they're sending their kid to a school where they've been recruited by a coach who's leaving, or because hey, we want your kid to come play along this 5-star quarterback. And now that quarterback has said, see you later, and it is definitely something as parents, we talk about education, and this is a prime example because it is changing so quickly. And it's just something we just have to kind of hold ourselves accountable here.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of give a good segue into one of the first things I wanted to talk about around our community, our Parent Portal Show community. To your point, there is a lot of change going on, and a lot of these parents have not ever been around this environment, and they may have that stud athlete or kid who at least has a chance to go play college ball or college sport, and there's not a lot of advice being given. And unfortunately for the coaches, they may not be able to give a lot of advice. They don't know all the NIL rules. They know what UIL requires of them because that's what keeps their job, but it's not their job necessarily. I mean, bigger programs have the ability to focus on this, but it's hard for these coaches to know what's it going to look like with the upcoming NIL changes or impact on the playing field, and the transfer portal has changed up a lot of that equation. So anyway, I go through all that because last night I was talking to an athlete who's at the high school, and we were kind of talking through some of the things. And I always kind of banter a little bit with the boys and try to figure out what's going on in their lives, and just ask casual, what are you planning on doing for the summer kind of stuff. And we got into the conversation about camps and clinics for this summer. And this kid, I think, is a pretty good athlete. I think he's got a chance to go play, maybe not Division I, but I think he could find a college program to play for if he really wanted to. And it may not be football. It may be around another sport. He's a pretty good athlete. And he's academically, he's great, so he's got the grades. So the conversation went along the lines of, well, we're looking at camps and clinics for the summer, and this is what we're thinking, and this, that, and the other. And I think the kid was a little bit of a deer in the headlights. He's a great kid, smart kid. I don't think the parents are very involved in the sporting program, which is okay. That it's not their job to have to know everything. But it just made me realize, because he started asking me a lot of questions about that. And I understood at that point that, we do provide a service if we can give that advice. And you and I have talked about how important it is to find those camps and clinics almost now. We're about a month away, and it's going to be time. And I think for our next podcast, I'll make an effort to go look and see what camps and clinics are out there, what's open, what Texas is doing, what other programs are doing. We're kind of central to this area, but a lot of this is going to be important more and more so as we kind of move in the next 30 days or so. And the kids that need to be thinking about that, now's the time.
Wow.
Bring your family together with a backyard game court from Sport Court of Austin. Moms love Sport Court because it's an active and safe place for the kids to gather. Dads love Sport Court because he gets to play like a kid again. Kids love Sport Court because all kids love to play. So give your kids a safe place to hang out and have fun. Call 512-335-9779 or go to sportcourtofaustin.com for more information. If you build it, they will play.
Wow. Yeah, it really is. And just to kind of emphasize some of what you're talking about, as a dad of middle schoolers, a lot of the camps that we've attended have been more experiences, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you get a picture taken, you go through 4 or 5 different station drills with 30 people, and then you go play 7-on-7 with 20 people, and it's fun because usually those are in destinations, big universities and everything else. Or maybe it's like, one of your favorite players has their camp. They're hosting their own camp, and you go to it, and they're exactly the same. Pictures, handshakes, and you're not working. You are having an experience. That changes as you go into high school, and those things that change are, when you start getting into your high school type of years, you're really looking at deciding where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing in your future. If football or baseball or basketball or softball or volleyball is your passion, you start looking for things that you want to work at. Good example, I spent almost a month researching just what we're talking about with camps and stuff for football. One of the best camps is IMG out of Florida, and they offer a resident program where you go in for a week and you're there and you work with, coaches that are accredited. It's not like, well, I'm working with a graduate assistant here. No, they're coaches. And that's, to me, that's like the top end. Or you can go throughout Texas and find quarterback camps and
Yep.
receiver camps and lineman camps. They're everywhere. But the thing is like, think about the money that you're putting into this, because if some of these camps are high dollar, and my recommendation is like, are you going to be getting the experience? Or are you going to get work? And oh, by the way, do you have a personal coach? Because if you have a personal coach and they are working you on the same skill sets, the only reason you would be going then to a camp/clinic is to be seen by somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, by somebody is like, you're looking for a recruiter, you're looking for a college coach, you're looking for somebody that's out there, maybe an athletic director that is going to be able to put you in your face and your name when the time comes in a place that says, hey, I remember this player. He was at this clinic. He performed very, very well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you spending all that money and traveling all these different places that you could get done at home?
Yeah. Well, and that's where I fall down on this. You do not need to fly to Florida to find the type of workouts and training and exercises that there are plenty of good local coaches and programs that you can do that. You don't think for a moment that you can't find that. That's part A. Part B is when you get, there becomes a distinction between working out and really building your skills around either catching or whatever sport you play. There's definitely a purpose driven, I'm going to become a better athlete at whatever sport I'm in, and that can be sport specific. But I'll tell you, a big missing equation there that a lot of parents tend to overlook is just get the exercise in there, get the speed drills, get the weightlifting. Those are things that you don't need a coach. I mean, you can have a coach teach you the basics. Heck, I'll teach you the basics. I'll charge you $5. No problem. I know those. And you don't have to fly out to Florida to meet me there. So my advice is don't waste your money on going way out to wherever. The good programs, the good clinics, the good camps are not expensive. They're still reasonable. They're oftentimes, I think you stay with the university programs. So Texas, North Texas, TCU, all these Big 12 teams pretty much have a camp nowadays. They have specialty camps. They have, a lot of it is easy stuff that you're not really you learn skills, but you're not becoming a faster runner per se, and you're certainly not going through tackling drills. And that's what's changed, I think, that makes it important is you do not have any expectation that you're going to be playing football out on a field over at University of Texas. They don't do that. If you're playing 7-on-7s kind of stuff. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, contact out of season is almost becoming a thing of the past, because the athletes are going, 12 months out of the year, as opposed to, the way they used to, which looked like, 5-6 months. And if you put your body through that kind of contact for 12 months, you're going to set yourself up for injury. And, it is definitely something that I recommend. You try to stay contact during season. Shells and, those types of things are fine. But it's like when you start going full contact, it's you want to be able to make the entire season. And you only need to look at any football team, and it's hard for any team to stay together free of injury.
Yeah. Well, and that's where UIL rules hopefully step in. Hey, let's get into a little bit of a discussion about our wonderful EA Sports and the whole interesting challenge behind when that game is coming available. So just to give a little history, you know what? It was 2013 that EA Sports got involved in doing this name, image, likeness. I mean, they were the precursor to that whole debacle of the courts getting involved. But EA Sports wanted to put college kids into their gaming solution. The courts got involved. Kids weren't getting paid. The courts said, you know what? Kids need to get paid. Well, that was contrarian to what NCAA allowed. And so EA Sports college football got shut down in 2013. So fast forward to this year, last year, I guess the announcement was made it's coming back. Everyone was expecting a big announcement around the college football championship game. Thought for sure that EA Sports would use that moment to announce the launch date of their new program, and they didn't. And I mean, the social media blew up because they didn't announce anything. And then we get to about what it was about a week, almost 2 weeks ago, where this big rumor of a July 12th launch date came out. And one of the guys, announcers who had kind of a in the know kind of approach to things, said that, you know, and I don't know if he called it a rumor, but he said, oh, yeah, insider information is that July 12th is the date. And of course, immediately Matt Brown with EA Sports said no. but it's interesting. He didn't say no, that wasn't the date. He said, we have not announced a date. And so if you read between the lines a little bit, July 12th is still, a lot of people are betting on that date. It's funny how much this has taken off on the internet, and the craziness of all the articles that have been written about what the real date's going to be. And I just, you know, it's kind of fun to watch all of it.
Yeah, it really is. And I did a little bit of reading on this subject. So, and I've done a lot of playing personally on this subject years and years ago.
Madden, there you go.
Yeah, well, apparently the Brander Group, which was a group that filed suit against the NCAA or EA Sports because they had the rights to 54 collegiate Division I programs. They were the group that came and said, "Look, these guys aren't being compensated well enough with just $500, and they weren't getting any royalties off of that. They're saying they're worth a lot more than that, and obviously in today's world and today's money, that is so true. And so to kind of bring that 2024 is like once that was settled, that suit was settled, all's well and good, and now we're at this point of looking at that July 12th launch date, and it's like it's exciting. I mean, as a person that used to play this game long ago, it's there's a lot of anticipation of what it's going to look like and how it's going to work. Will they have NIL deals inside the game? Will they have portal transfers inside the game? And it's they did such a good job of when we played it long ago to keep all the they had the school songs, and you could see in the stadium, you could see there was just a lot of like things that made college sports great that was incorporated in it. And to see how that's going to look in today's world is I can't wait to see it because they did such a good job before.
Yeah. Well, and, so here's the craziness of what they're trying to do. Currently they have the NFL game, which is 53, 53 teams. I'm sorry, 32 teams with 53-man roster, right? So you do the math on that. What are we at? 100 or 1,600, something like that, kind of in the neighborhood of 1,000. So 1696 plus some a list of free agents that they kind of add to that. So now take 130 FBS football programs and a roster having 85 scholarship players. And now you get into 11,000 players who, by the way, not all of them are on the team they were on 24 hours ago.
For nearly 50 years, Town and Country Sports has been the heartbeat of youth sports in North Austin, promoting fair play, sportsmanship, and most importantly, fun. TNC Sports is for kids of all ages, no matter the skill level, and we encourage the whole family to get involved. Right now, registration is open for soccer, flag football, baseball, girls volleyball, softball, lacrosse, and more. Space is limited. Don't wait. Sign up today at tncsports.org. TNC Sports. Come play with us.
That's right.
And you're going to do name, image, likeness. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's the part that I find it just like doing this show. I've come to appreciate is like what's there today may not be there tomorrow.
Right.
You may have. Just think of it this year. You would have Saban on the sidelines and Harbaugh, and neither one of them are there next year for the Michigan or Alabama teams. It's not just the players. It's like those name, image, likenesses goes to the coaches too in this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, so it's coming this summer is what they're talking about, right? They're sticking with that. I think it's John Reesberg with EA Sports, who's the vice president of global marketing, communications, and partnerships. He's the one who said, hey, we don't have any release date, so back off. Here's an interesting point. Love to get your feedback on this. The new game will not carry the NCAA name.
Well, there's probably a big underlying reason that you and I both know on this is because the relevancy of this organization is being
they may not be around.
Yeah, everybody's kind of saying, well, I don't know, but I think it's a smart move because if they were to name it the College Football Playoff Association, I mean, just word salad again. That word salad word comes back here is like whatever acronym and naming they want to apply to it may not hold water in 7 months. It's an ever changing issue for everybody.
Well, it's a huge power play. The fact that they can kick NCAA off the title means that NCAA doesn't have any control. They don't have any ownership of it, which is just amazing. I mean, let's do a pro football game and not put NFL on the name. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to just take a step back 2 years and look at what NCAA was then and look at what they are now. I mean, they're a shell of a company of an association of what they were.
I'm going to spell that SHELL. Okay, good. We're there. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, one other little interesting side note that I saw in all this kind of negotiating and things that were going on. EA Sports actually contracted one team partners to facilitate all that name, image, likeness deals. Now they got sued. This Brand R group kind of jumped in with a lawsuit claiming that there was interference, but they settled it pretty quickly because there's just too much money on the table. I'm sure they took care of Brand R group pretty quickly to make sure that didn't happen.
It never really talked about when that lawsuit happened. I've got to think it probably happened in 13-ish, and then
no, this is current, Coach. I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you.
Sorry.
No, this is a current group that jumped in that said, whoa, you guys are stepping on deals we were already making. I think they just had to be placated is all that needed to happen there.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, and you look at what EA Sports wanted to offer in the past was $500, no royalties.
Yeah. That's changed. We all know that's changed.
Come on. That's nothing now. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That won't even fill up the gas tank. Come on.
Well, and I'm going to go back to I'm kind of anxious. I'm excited to see this. I really am. I'm excited to see what they come out with. The idea that they can come out with a name and a image and a likeness of a kid who's going to be playing on a college team, just take our Texas Longhorns, and be able to give it enough of a representation of that athlete. Now, I got to guess there's probably tiers. The Quinn Ewers character, who's kind of probably set in stone right now as far as the development of that look and image, that's probably well done, right? And it looks exactly like him. The new kid that, running back Blue or who knows? I mean, even Blue may have a pretty good likeness now, but, some of the newer kids maybe aren't starters. I just don't know how you put 85 kids into the game. I'd be very interested to see that and see how they do it. But, I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you're being featured in the game, you got to have a chance to be presented onto the field. Maybe they do have to have some pretty solid representations. I don't know.
The world of digital art has come from Pong to where we are now, right?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what Pong is, go look it up. But it has come from like a single block to where it looks so lifelike. It is just incredible. And I'm just not versed enough to tell you how long it takes to, take somebody's face and duplicate it. But I can tell you that it is light years away from where we were 5 years ago. I mean, just the graphics, if you watch any game that's on any console, is so much more lifelike than it ever was before. And it's I got to imagine that, like you said, there are probably some graphic artists that are already gearing up and already, working on those high-level Heisman candidates, if you will, and they will have them down to the hair color and hairstyle and tattoos and everything else they have.
The mole on their cheek.
Yeah, you got to.
And that's a Cindy Crawford reference. And for you kids who have no clue what that is, go look it up.
There you go.
All right. Well, Coach, I think it is all in the tools. I just don't know for this mugshot. Thank goodness they don't have to worry about putting me into their game.
Yeah, I'm just there with you. I mean, I've always been told I had a face for radio, so it's really a good thing that.
Yeah. Hey, Kirk Herbstreit is going to be rumored. I don't, nothing's final, I guess, but supposedly Kirk Herbstreit's going to be the announcer voice in it. How about that?
Wow. That he's getting paid then for that, because that would be the ultimate. I think the old one was just, just a random voice. I don't remember it being like Craig Way or the voice of the Longhorns. That would be the ultimate, is like to have him in the background calling the game. If you're a Longhorn fan, you get that. But it is literally, I could see that, because with AI, you can take somebody's voice, say, a famous actor, and why couldn't you do it with a coach or a sports announcer and put them in the game of your team? That would be huge. They should bring us in for marketing on this.
Right, you and I, right? Hey, I didn't get any phone calls yet about it, but
no, they ain't reached out yet.
I'm waiting on by the phone.
Yeah.
This is the Parent Portal Show.
You've seen prices rise from the dinner table to the pump, but Allstate agents are seeing ways to save you money on insurance. From starting a new policy to bundling coverage or even driving safely, Allstate agents know how to maximize your savings. They'll share their knowledge as they help you personalize your coverage. Because when it comes to seeing all the ways to save, Allstate agents do it best.
Mike Hammer has over 35 years as an Austin area Allstate agent. Call 512-343-6994 or visit MikeHammer@allstate.com.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.